viewers, welcome to UCSI TV News. My name is Jasmine Cole. I'm the anchor for Today TV News, and these are our topic stories. American President Joe Biden hoped to implement the infrastructure bill in order to break the economic bottlenecks. Athletes in the Olympic Village test positive for COVID-19 ahead of the Tokyo Games opening ceremony. The dispute between Hala Shihab and Tamar Hosni. And we also got the report to talk about the murder of Kelly Wilkerson. Our first story about politics. The U.S. President Joe Biden wants to implement the infrastructure bill, but most Republicans refuse to vote for the bill. Jasmine Cole has the detail. On July 19 local time, U.S. President Joe Biden stated at a press conference held at the White House that the two parties should unite in the framework of the infrastructure bill. Biden emphasized at the meeting, if America make a long-term investment in better roads and bridge, transportation system, high-speed internet, and more modern and resilient power grid, the American can break the bottlenecks that the U.S. economy is facing.
What I'm proposing is a one-time capital investment of roughly $2 trillion in America's future, spread largely over 8 years.
According to the Washington Post report, Biden's statement is intended to put the pressure on Senate Republicans. The proposal on infrastructure is approaching the final critical stage. The Senate Majority Leaders and the Democrat Chuck Schumer's plans to hold an preliminary Senate vote on the 21st set. But even if the vote is only to allow the Senate to begin the legislative process of the bipartisan infrastructure agreement, there are still a lot of protests. This is Jasmine Cole, report from UCSI TV News. In crime, second man arrested, charged with the murder of Gold Coast mom Kelly Wilkerson. Sabrina has the details.
Queensland police have charged a second man with the murder of Gold Coast mother Kelly Wilkerson. Gold Coast detective charged a 25-year-old man with murder, domestic violence offense following continued investigation. Mrs. Wilkerson was found with severe burns in the backyard of her home in April. Brian Earl Johnston, 34, was charged with the murder of his estranged wife, Mrs. Wilkerson, in April, after he allegedly doused her in petrol and set her on fire in the backyard of her Erdon home. Detective Inspector Chris Ahern said that the man was taken into custody at about 9 a.m. on Tuesday at a business in Coomera, after a lengthy investigation dating back to April. Police will allege the man who worked with Ms. Wilkerson's estranged husband and that he knew Mr. Johnston intended to kill her. Detective Ahern said that the man and Mr. Johnston worked together and are believed to have lived together on and off. This male person is known to Kelly's estranged husband and was aware of his intent to murder her. He was involved in transporting Kelly's estranged husband to the house, Detective Inspector Ahern said. Prior to the murder, they did stop at a fuel station and fuel was obtained. This is Sabrina Heng reporting on Crime News.
And in sports, much anticipated Olympics are set to start on Friday with an opening ceremony being performed in almost empty stadium. However, the Games are in trouble after a recent cluster of the coronavirus was detected within Olympic Village. UCSI TV News' Maria Iman has the details.
With the Tokyo Olympics opening ceremony only a week away, the Games are in trouble. Since July 18, 4 athletes within the Tokyo Village have tested positive for the Delta variant of coronavirus. The delayed 2020 Games are gearing down for the opening ceremony on Friday, July 23, in an almost empty National Stadium of Japan. However, with the most recent case of Czech beach volleyball player Ondřej Prsuik testing positive, the Games are in a state of peril. The isolation bubble system of the Olympic Village, which had been implemented in order to control the spread of the disease, has already been breached. This has increased the threat of the infection spreading from within the village itself. Since July 1, a total of 67 cases have been detected in relation to the Games. The president of the International Olympics Committee, Thomas Bach, had recently reassured the press about the stringent nature of the testing and quarantining protocols within the Olympic Village of Tokyo. He claimed that there was zero risk of the participants getting infected. As a result of the bubble's burst, Toyota has pulled from advertising and will not be sending its officials to the Games. Kenji Shibuya, the former director of the Institute for Population Health at King's College London, believes that the insufficient testing at the bubble's border and the inability to control people's movements mean that the Games could exacerbate the spread of the infectious Delta variant. Public health experts have warned that seasonal factors, increased mobility, and the spread of the Delta variant could lead to a surge past 2,000 cases per day in Tokyo by next month, levels that would drive the city's medical system to its breaking point. International sports news covered by Mariam Imam. And now, back to the studio.
In entertainment, Hala Shiha, an Egyptian actress, was recently in dispute with a Tamar Hosni Egyptian actor and singer. This dispute caused major backlash for Hala and resulted in her being removed from the Actors Syndicate. Maria Youssef has the details.
Tamar Hosni, an Egyptian musician and actor, began filming a movie called This Is Not Me with Hala Shiha more than 18 months ago, but the film's release was delayed due to the COVID-19 outbreak and it only came out this month. Hala published a post as soon as the film's posters and promotion ads were out, wishing the crew well, but stating that she is not part of the film. She says, "When I shot the film, I was a different person, and this is not me anymore." This assertion elicited no response from Tamar. On July 16th, things took a turn for the worst when Hala posted another Instagram message accusing Tamar of breaking his word after she demanded that he removed all the intimate scenes from the video, which he supposedly agreed to. Hala wrote in her post that she was ashamed of her scenes and that she was crying as she watched them, and she went to remind Tamar that he had said in an interview that he does not want to die a singer, implying that he wants to repent and that singing isn't compatible with the Islamic doctrine. Now for examining some facts. Hala returned to Egypt and acting a few years ago after a decade away from the field. She returned with a new look and removed her hijab, attempting to restore her former life of acting. Soon after, she began working with very well-known Egyptian artists such as Muhammad Ramadan and Yusra. But all this changed this summer when she announced her marriage to an Egyptian preacher, Muaz Masoud. She abruptly erased many of her Instagram images, unfollowed many of the actors and actresses, and deleted any images that could link her to her role in the 2020 Ramadan show Ahad's Betrayal. That is, after all, her personal space and she's free to do anything she wants there. However, her most recent stance on Tamar's film is questionable. For example, she signed the contract and shot the scenes without being forced to. It is completely understandable that she was a different person. However, why should a production company bear the cost of her own personal struggles? This may sound harsh, but work ethics require her to honor the contract. These scenes may irritate her, but they are necessary for the film's plot, and the audiences enjoy love scenes. Tamar did not remain silent in the face of her accusations this time, responding on social media by stating that he never promised her things she claimed in her post, and that no one forced her to do her role for which she was paid well, and that the director of the film and he personally tried to contact her for months to finish the voiceover or participate in the rest of the film. Other performers and industry insiders reacted angrily to Hala's criticism on their career. This caused major backlash from her colleagues and fans that she no longer has. This entire dispute resulted in her removal from the Egyptian Syndicate of Actors. This is Mariam Youssef covering international entertainment. Back to the studio.
And for our final story of the evening is about Chinese government providing free vaccination to overseas Chinese students. Jasmine Cole here for this special report. During COVID-19 issue, Malaysia's uninterrupted MCO has lasted for 1.5 years already. Since July of this year, the COVID cases in Malaysia have continued to increase and more lose control. The pandemic makes the vaccine scarce. In this time, Chinese government has provided China's Sinovac vaccines to Chinese citizens who working and study in Malaysia. The China embassy, they open online registration. As long as the people got Chinese passport, they can apply for this vaccine. UCSI TV News has interviewed some Chinese students who know these things. Let's see what do they feeling about it.
My name is Chet Henry. I'm 27 years old.
My name is Wang Yixi, and I'm 22 years old.
My name's Neil. I'm 22 years old.
I'm Alice, and I'm 22 years old.
Yes.
No, I have registered.
Yeah.
Nope, I have not.
Yeah. I'm feeling much better than before. And also I think Sinovac is better than other brands, just from my own perspective, because sometimes I focus on the news on vaccines, and I think Sinovac is very reliable, and I trust it very much because Sinovac has a very good global reputation because it's a low mortality rate.
Oh yeah, I do think so. On a large extent, actually, since COVID-19 vaccines teach our immune system how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID-19. But sometimes this process can cause symptoms such as, fever, mostly. But if you ask me if I felt safer out of a shot, yeah, definitely, I'll give you that. But if we're talking about it from, say, the vaccine protection perspective, Pfizer seems to be the best vaccine option from all perspectives, including, after effects, protection levels, and so
on. I don't have the adding reaction actually. It's not feeling good, but there is not feeling bad.
So I had headache, then body ache, then tired and feel sleepy, but not really fever, but my temperature was a bit high, but everything is just in control and understandable.
Actually, I strongly believe that it can really effectively help me prevent me from the virus, because as far as I know, before the launch of the Sinovac, so the medical researchers in China must have done a lot of experiments to assess the efficacy. So that's why it's very trustworthy. It's very reliable.
I have seen news talking about the people who even take the vaccine, but they still get COVID. But of course, they will get lesser effect. A good choice to take vaccine. Even though the chance of getting COVID is still there, but definitely it will be lower, and to your body is lesser harmful to your body.
Thought that was a brilliant idea, the brilliant news, and was proud of being a Chinese, as well as felt quite settled back then, since we couldn't make it with our own country together.
I feel a bit warm and touched, and I feel very grateful to our government. But actually, it's not the first feeling came to my mind. The first feeling I remember was that I felt very proud of my home country, of my government, because what I think is that we have advanced technology, medical technology to invent our own vaccines. So there's nowhere for a lot of my friends from other countries to get vaccinated, because their country rely heavily on some imported vaccines, and they don't have in their country they don't have sufficient vaccines for themselves inside the countries, let alone overseas citizens. So it feels that their safety and their lives are at the mercy of other countries. So it's such a tragedy. So I feel very proud of China. I feel very honored to be born as a Chinese citizen.
8% more and more people are vaccinated in Malaysia. We hope that Malaysia can return to normal as soon as possible. This is all for today. Make sure to join us next week for more update. Keep follow us and thank you for watching all of us here for UCSI TV News. Good night and stay safe.